Hello and welcome back to the channel. You're here for yet another league race, this time in GFC around Mexico, the Autodromo Ramos Rodriguez, I believe, or something along those lines, in the heart of Mexico City. This race was certainly an interesting one, as you will find out, so do stick around to see all that. You can see it would have been a quality dry race, which is what we always love to see, although I don't mind the odd bit of rain here and there. Certainly makes things a lot more exciting. See, now just waiting on a bit, so I have to share the league and all that stuff, get it all tweeted. As so if you didn't know, this is one of the leagues that I own. In fact, it's the league that I own. I only own one.
Standing by.
Or at least I'm a part of the team that owns it. Runs it all. So I have to get the link to the stream tweeted. If you do want to watch these races live, it's on Kindle's Twitch. No matter where that, follow me on Twitter and you'll find it all on there. So follow the league on Twitter, it'll help out a lot. As you can see now, on my first flying lap, you can see two very big mistakes there in the stadium section. First going very deep at the hairpin, and then making a mistake yet again at that right-hander in the stadium, which I have definitely fallen out with at this point. You'll see later on as well, another reason why I strongly dislike that curb on the inside. As you can see now, looking at the timings, I've dropped down to P3. My time put me second at the time.
We're 16th in the speed trap,
But slowly dropping down the order. You can see Tom there, only 3 tenths off me on the mediums, absolutely rapid driver. And looking down at all the times that we've seen, you see a lot of them are yet to set a time. I believe Harley had a 15-minute quali ban that was issued a couple of weeks ago, so he couldn't leave the pits until there were 3 minutes left. You can see Chael Watty at the moment out in front there, championship leader. Just flicking through all the menus, essentially about just to waste time, because it's just a bit of fun. And now coming out of the stadium to start on my final flying lap of the session. You can see the conditions look a little better now, clouds aren't as prominent. Rolling down the very long pit straight all the way down to the first corner. Possibly the longest pit straight on the calendar, I believe it might be. Not making this mistake I made before then, using too much curb on the outside. Running through the treble chicane, getting a terrible run out of it. Not a fan on that corner either. This track I do seem to be quite comfortable with it. But turn 1, 2, 3, and then as I said, that right-hander in the middle of the stadium. If they just get rid of these corners, that would make me a lot happier. Then running through turn 6, you can see I gain time at the apex and then lose all of it essentially. On the run to turn 7, trying to carry as much speed through here as I can. Stayed flat. I think that's the only time I've ever stayed flat through that left-hander. Just absolutely, I have confidence in the car through there, at least in Miss Williams. A little bit wide on the entry to the stadium, and again maybe a little bit deep into the hairpin, a little cautious through that right-hander, and then the exit out of the stadium through the final corner and across the line jumps us up into P5. Purple sector 2 as well, which I don't know if that's entirely true. I feel like I maybe missed a couple of attempts on the table there, but only a second off pole. See the championship leader as always there, putting in the fastest lap time. Let's run to the bottom there, Trap not putting in the time. But yes, that was certainly an interesting qualifying session for me. I did struggle quite a bit, certainly as you would have seen through the first 3 corners. And then from there, just losing a little bit of time in a couple of places, which I don't particularly know why, that's just how it goes. You can see it will be the soft, medium, soft strategy for the race. Also take out most of the fuel as I tend to do. Hopping onto the grid now, 5 red lights are on. And there we go, we're off the grid and out. As you may notice, Dan Orchelwati, this is PSN, is not at the front despite qualifying in pole. The game basically glitched. He joined the session late, in terms of he said he'd joined the session during qualifying, which he did, and the game clearly didn't count as lap time, so he ended up last. So this race is not actually the actual results, as you'll find out very shortly as to why that is not the case. But dropping down, I've lost 2 positions so far, now down into turn 4. You can see a little tap from Noah behind, sends us into a little spin. Not very happy about this whatsoever, but we didn't hit the wall. The safety car when deployed, I did think this was for me at the time, and then I saw Geordie in the wall. But then you'll see here, it's all very slow, all this weaving and all this, essentially what's going to turn into a giant mess. As we follow round for the rest of this lap, you can just see Delta 4 seconds in hand. Just not really pushing, there's not really any point. Dark Shadow then retires into the safety car. Don't know how they managed it, but it's something they always bring to a league. Geordie and Dark Shadow then both quite lucky with the decision that we have to take very briefly. As you can see here, an absolute massive pile up. You can see both the Haas cars have actually got into the pit lane, and it was Flex Ferry Lando who actually held us all up. He overtook Jay Wizzy, who was actually in one of those Haas cars, causing the illegal overtake glitch where both parties get a penalty. And you see a load of cars coming to his. I'm not sure why Harley pitted, he's on the mediums. Now running down the pit straight, carnage is about to unfold. You can see on the map a massive pile up ahead. Very narrowly missed the back of Hazard as well. Very narrow there. We're supposed to give it back, which he also didn't understand, and then we come to a full stop here. The penalty warning gets taken away, and it's at this point, obviously, as you may remember, I talked to Will, what's known as Finnish Blue. Don't think he goes by that name at all anymore, but Will Anderson, I believe, is his gamer tag. We're in a party for these races in GFC, and we were pretty much discussing now that we should probably throw a red flag. Actually coming down the straight, I decided to pause the game, X out. I put into the Discord chat red flag, which pretty much means we had to restart the lobby completely, which led me to put the grid order in, which was very difficult. I think I only put 3 cars in the wrong places, which I did apologise for afterwards, so we didn't have a grid screenshot to go off of. So it was essentially, I don't want to know if it was guesswork, but I mean it pretty much was. Now back into the race, you can see Dan Orchelwati is up on pole. We're in P6 where we qualified. This time, the start, I think we did even worse this time. 6th, they're already down to 7th, already down to 8th now. And I did apologise to Geordie here, but at least I said it out loud at the time, because I was just going to swipe across him. I didn't want to be on the inside at all. Heading into this first corner. So it all gets very tight. So there's someone on my inside there as well, that was Geordie. So leave a little bit of space. So we're down, we dropped 2 positions again, but this time Noah's ahead of us, so we can't give us a little love tap. Into turn 4. It's a little bit of a lock up on the inside as well. Cars ahead. A little bit aggressive, all fighting over the positions. But it all turned out well, a little bit surprisingly. I don't think any issues there. I think one of the Ferraris towards the back may have been Dark Shadow again. Getting a little bit caught out, going off the track somewhere. I believe that was pretty much it for this first lap. Coming down now into the stadium section, you can see a couple cars ahead, causing all sorts of issues. You'll notice there Will is ahead of Lando until now, where both cars end up in the wall. Causing both to retire.
Okay, the safety car is out.
I knew it in their Jedi just sneaking past me on the inside. Just a little bit annoying, but not really much that I could do. As the lights there do go out, this is the replay of the start. This is the second start. You see everybody coming down the main straight that I swipe across the racing point to take the racing line, or yeah, technically it is the racing line. It's turn 1, you see the AlphaTauri there behind that. I believe that was Jedi. Getting very close to the back of me indeed. So exit, you see Noah using all of the exit possible on turn 3 as we now run down towards turn 4. Load of cars coming into the pit lane now. As pretty much expected, well, I should not expect, I didn't expect everyone to pull into the pits. Obviously they planned it as soon as the safety car came out, but I opted not to. Jumped up into an LP2 and a top 5 that I never thought I would see. So no disrespect to anybody in the league, but I would never have expected this top 5. What happened there was I didn't actually know what Noah was doing. I don't think he knew either. He came in, he wanted to come into the pit lane by the looks of things, saw that I wasn't going to follow him, then took out the bollard to rejoin the track. Luckily I didn't get past him, because I had floored it by the time that happened. I saw him going to the pit, so I floored it to go past him, just about get out of his way. As he comes back onto the track, the restart now from that safety car, you can see Noah pretty much nailing it, although it gets a little bit sideways on the exit of the final corner. Coming onto the pit straight, instantly defensive as he comes down the straight. Just trying to stay with him as best as I can. He did have a slightly better exit, possibly using a lot more battery at the start, but I've already used half of my battery just to try and stay with him, coming down towards turn 1. Luckily the straight is long enough so you can get a little bit of a run onto someone, despite being like, you could probably be about a second back. Coming now onto lap 7, you can see fast lap of the race. We're quicker than Noah at the moment. Running all the way down to the first corner. You can see getting closer and closer all the time. A little feint to the inside. Get very close to the back of him into the first corner. Had to go a little bit deep, otherwise there would have been contact there. You can see he just pulled away. He had a better line through those corners as he was on the actual racing line. I went a little bit deep into the first corner to avoid the contact. You see, just losing the back at pretty much every corner, clearly feeling the pressure. Don't believe his tyres would have gone off just yet. Got a clean exit out of turn 6, coming now through 7 and 8. And then through turn 9, you can see he loses the back end a little bit, which I noticed at the time. He spins and just about collects me. A little bit annoyed at this point, but I even believe at the time I said it wasn't his fault. I couldn't blame him for that. If anything, I'm at fault for myself going around, didn't leave enough space. But then again, he possibly should have held the brakes. We've seen then Noah retired. He actually got collected by one of the Storms, NSR Storm I believe, which was the reason for that, which warrants a virtual safety car. You see Geordie would have been rubbing his hands there. He got a very easy position. You'll see now from the replay, coming through these corners, you can see he just slides and he just about clips my rear right tyre, I believe it would have been. Luckily no damage caused to my car. That could have been even more annoying. Jumping ahead now to lap 10 on the back of Geordie, so it took us a couple laps to catch back up to him. I believe he had a 4-second gap when I had recovered from the spin. So now catching right up onto the back of him through a DRS zone, which I'm not sure why this one's here, but I guess it can help a little bit. Breaking now into the stadium section. Taking a slightly compromised line to get a better run through here, and then once again that curb on the inside. I think I just used the bit too much and it just upset the balance. I touched the throttle and that was it. See now, just trying to get the car turned around. I wait here for the next car to go past because I knew they were on their way. Premier him retired. I don't actually know what happened to Jake. You can see his McLaren stationary at the bottom. We very nearly lost the car coming into the pit lane as well. That was a little bit scary. Rear tyre is absolutely screwed at this point. But we lost a lot of positions there. We went from battling for the lead to dropping back behind the leader to then battling for the lead again. Now we're down in P11. And I believe we lose one more to Trap as well as he just flies past.
Okay, you only have to stop once now. One stop left.
So one stop left, which was what the plan was at the start of the race. So the contact with Noah didn't really affect my decision during the race. Then running now into the back of Trap. So you're in the DRS, we have better tyres.
22.5 seconds.
Coming now, doesn't go defensive, so we dart to the inside. We are alongside anyway, but we brake later. Get the car turned in. He turns in on me. He actually turned in on King Psycho Panda later on in the race as well. And then heavily blamed him for breaking his wing.
Green flag.
You see fast lap of the race for lap 12 on the back now of Hazard and Panda. Yellow flags in the pits, that's I believe that Ferrari may have just retired. Anyway, on to closing down into turn 1, braking a lot later than the pair of them. These guys had a really good battle from what I saw throughout the entire race. They were pretty much going at it the entire time. You see now going down into turn 4. I think I could have lunged Hazard there, but it would have probably ruined both of our races, so I just thought better of it. Just tried to take advantage if one of them made a mistake at this point. See Trap as well, just lurking just behind me, probably ready to just pounce at any given moment. Now running through the S's, you can see Hazard goes a little bit deep, makes a little bit of a mistake. So I capitalised on that one, got a better run out of the S's, dive up the inside into the stadium. He wisely doesn't fight that. Mainly because I went a little bit too deep, wasn't planning to use all the track there, just in case he just held it around the outside. Just shows he's aware of what's going around him, which is really good to see. You notice I went a little bit too deep, so backed out of the move. Looking now onto the back of Panda coming down the pit straight, DRS open. Using the battery, using the fuel up as well. Again, now going down to the inside, such a better run, better tyres to the inside. Brake later, move done as well. We then had a little look into turn 2, which I didn't see coming until he hit me. So that could have ended badly for possibly both of us. But now on the back of Panda, this is the replay. Just need diving to the inside there. Later on the brakes. Move done fairly easily. And then we jump on to lap 17. I believe this is now 3 laps later on. We've caught up to the back of Luke in that racing point. Once again looking to make a move down the pit straight. Just closing up to him as quickly as we could. Obviously I wanted to redeem myself for the mistake I made earlier on, or the couple of mistakes that just cost me time. You can see DRS, look how far back we are as well. It says it's only half a second, but the gap was absolutely massive when we exited the stadium. You can see getting closer and closer all the way down, go to the inside and then send it up the inside once more. So again, he tried to have a little bit of a switch back. I think once again he knew he was beaten there. And luckily we get DRS as well on the exit, which is really helpful. A nice wing camera here coming down turn 1, diving up the inside. Can't quite see all the info from there, but it's good enough for a decent perspective from the outside. You see now as we come down on lap 23, we've gotten past Jedi and Tom.
No need to worry about
both
time
pitted.
position for now. Everything's looking good.
We gain those positions now up into a podium position at the moment. It does not last too long. As you can see there, fairly careless penalty from myself. Cutting Tom 1, turning him too early. A lap later then, onto lap 24. Tom right up behind me, don't bother fighting it whatsoever. He's quicker than me, he's on much better tyres. He also closed about 8 tenths on that lap. It's quite a bit dirtier.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Jumping in I believe 2 laps later possibly now.
This lap, then, coming
Onto
to
my
the pits at
in
the
lap,
end
I
of
was
this
just
lap.
waiting for Jedi really to make a move. Once again, had no intention of fighting the position whatsoever. He didn't make a move down to the first corner, so I was like, okay then. Maybe he's running out of like battery or fuel or something. Coming up turn 3, once again he has the DRS. Gets a lot closer this time. Clearly doesn't want to be held up behind me through the second sector. So I let him go, don't fight it whatsoever. Physically lift off, he then leaves me space, which I didn't expect at all. Got us both a bit of time. You can see Jay Wizzy is also pitted at this point. He's gone off the soft tyres, pushing to the end. We're into the pit lane now. A lot smoother pit entry than it was 16 laps ago. After nearly bending it into the wall. Driving down the pit lane once again in the Williams. Takes a year by the seams of it. Let's run down the pit lane as forever. A 2.6 second stop. One thing I would probably quite like to see in this game is they change the stops, like timing, because it's always the same number. Coming out of the pits, then we rejoin in P5. So you head just ahead of Luke as we can now come around the final corner. Mildly missed out on the fastest lap. I believe that was a 10th off of the fastest lap.
Currently, the fastest lap is a 1 minute 16.4.
There you go, 1:16.4. My time was a 1:16.5, which was a little bit frustrating that I missed out by so little. And you can see as we get another careless warning, Lisa has left this session. Her AI then boxed her car, so she came into the pit lane. That promoted us up into P4.
Just entered the pits. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 3 laps old. They have a time penalty of 6.0.
You can see that I checked their timing just in case she rejoined the session, which she didn't, unfortunate. As Lisa definitely looked to be on to win this race, or at least challenge Tom, who would have been chasing. Very unfortunate for her after the disconnecting, but now you can see on lap 36, coming through the stadium for the final time, right up behind Jay Wizzy. I knew I had the podium here because of his penalties. Just tried to get as close as I could, promoted up. You'll also see there Tom was dropped to second. That was the win was reinstated for Tom as he won the race on track. He removed his penalties afterwards. All in all, a decent race, couple of mistakes. I may have another challenge for that win if it wasn't for those. See 4 DNFs, actually more DNFs, just 4 without pens. But that'll be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe, as well helps me out massively. As always, I'm trying to improve with these every video. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like, subscribe, as well helps me out. And until the next one,